The moment biological evolution, we are taking into the learning process, how one DNA is making many varieties of DNA and controlling the various size and shape of the nose. My nose size and shape is totally different from my sister nose, is totally different from mother nose, is totally different from father nose, is totally different from grandparents nose, is totally different from our children nose. So grandparents, parents, children and grandchildren nose size and shape is not same exactly because of the DNA change, because of the cell change, because of the melanin pigment content change, right? This is the way you need to understand in the case of biological evolution. Now we are entering into the major important concept in the biological evolution. Okay, in this biological evolution, the DNA changes is bringing the micro changes in the nose. Okay, no one person, one human is having a crocodile nose, other human is having the tortoise nose. Like this, I am not saying. All the nose are having even size and shape, but micro difference is there not only in terms of size and shape, in color also. So that is because of the DNA ingredients change. Now, if you're talking about the great Charles Darwin, scientist, uh, Charles Darwin, scientist. So what you need to understand is about this information, that to biological evolution. Uh, we already told one bacteria how it is getting evolved into other bacteria. How one bacteria is getting evolved into other bacteria, we need to understand. How one virus is getting evolved into other virus. See, for example, one person is having typhoid infection. So in this typhoid infection, one typhoid causing microorganism name is called S. typhi. S. typhi A, some are called as S. typhi B, some type is called S. typhi C. So in this again back A1, A2, A3, A4 are there. Again back severity 1, 2, 3, 4 severities are there. So many subvarieties or the varieties of the species Salmonella typhimurium causes typhoid in cattle, whereas Salmonella typhi causes typhoid in human being. All right. So, so this varieties how it is getting originated in the different atmosphere that we are understanding. Fitness. I mean the fitness to survive in this geographical area. I am having the specific reproduction credential to do the reproduction in this area. For example, let us consider you take polar bear will reproduce very nicely in the chill climatic forest like alpine forest. The black bear can't reproduce more efficiently in the alpine forest. In alpine forest, okay, polar bear will reproduce, whereas the black bear can't reproduce. Why? Because the polar bear is having plenty of fat in its body to sustain and thrive more efficiently in this very cold climatic condition to survive more nicely by taking a required quantity of nutrients and also accumulating the plenty of adipose tissue within the skin to do the effective hibernation and estivation. Okay, hibernation and estivation. So this adipose tissue helps to do the hibernation and estivation more appropriately to survive in the different geographical area, right? So now, if you're talking about the natural selection, I'm a species, I like only this geographical area. I'm a species, I have the choice to mate only with this species. I'm a species, I can take this type of food alone, I won't take other food. Accordingly, your body features changes, your mating feature changes, your survival feature changes. Okay, like this, we need to bring all the concept in detail, right? Uh, so natural selection, how it is getting changed. Now, only given plenty of example. And fitness, reproductive fitness, survival fitness, both are totally different, right? And now we are coming for the next phase. Okay, can you see this place here, the graph? So, okay, most of the exams, they'll give a graph and then they will ask you to find out the answer, right? A billion years ago, million years ago, Maya, Baya, billion years ago. Okay, million years ago. Like this, so many questions are there. Now we are entering into the key concept of Darwin's theory, natural selection, that we already told to you. Genetic basis, different DNA sequence determines different type of intelligence quotient of the various children of a same parent. This is a fantastic example. Okay, here among four students, or among the four children's of one particular parent, one child is performing very nicely because the child intelligence quotient is very good, grasping potential is very good, and learning potential is very good. Okay, so this is not the case with all the students or all the children of the same parent. This is because of the amount of nerve message production efficiency is very good in that particular child, not in other children, right? So now, if you're coming for the adaptation, uh, adaptation, who can adapt to survive, they can survive, or others can't survive. Can you give an example for that? Of course, I'm a cactus, so I'm having the cuticles in my body so that what I can survive in this desert under a very, very hard climatic condition. But the jasmine can't survive in the desert. Jasmine can't survive. Why? Because jasmine is not having cuticles. Cactus is having the cuticles. You know very well the who else are having the cuticles? Who else are having the cuticles? Uh, Cactus is having the cuticles, okay, to survive very nicely in the adverse climatic condition, in a hot climatic condition, right? So like this, we can give plenty of examples. Okay, jasmine can't survive in the desert. We already told you. If you're talking about the hill station in the evergreen forest, you can see the plenty of green leaves, coffee leaves you can see. The plenty of green leaves and the coffee leaves you can't see in the Gaza desert, right? So different plants have the different type of adaptation credential. Branching descents. Branching descents means, for example, this ancestor, after 1 million year, this type of descent one I got. After 2 million years, I got descent two. After 3 million years, I got descent three, and then the descent one made descent four. Like this, what I can say, each and every million years information simultaneously when I'm narrating the various species origination from a common ancestor, that is A, right? Different species origination. I can explain with the how many years of evolution this species origination happened, and how many varieties of species are originated because of this, and we can understand everything in detail. And now we are entering into the next important, fitness and survival. Here, the fitness is very important for the anteaters with the long tongue and anteaters with the short tongue. Anteaters with a long tongue, anteaters with a short tongue, anteaters with a medium-sized tongue. So one anteater is having the long tongue, one anteater is having the short tongue, one anteater is having the medium-sized tongue. So which anteater is having the long tongue will survive very nicely for a long duration. Why? Because the anteaters with the long tongue can put the tongue in the burrow which is very long, the burrow which is very short, also in that also it can put the tongue, medium size also it can put the tongue, and it can take the ants of many varieties. So if I'm an ant eater, I'm having only a short tongue, I can use only the ants of the short burrow, medium size burrow, but I can't use the long burrows, right? So the fitness depends upon your body structure. The fitness depends upon your supporting abiotic factors. What is supporting abiotic factors? Okay, temperature, etc. Supporting abiotic factors, temperature, etc. So that will make the species to survive very nicely. Lamarck is a scientist who made this particular concept in detail. Lamarckism. We know very well the Jean Baptiste Lamarck proposed a hypothesis about the evolution of the life. Okay. Here, before Charles Darwin. So here, use and disuse of the organ. Any one of you can say about the use and disuse of the organ. Any one of you can say the use and disuse of the organ. Some students typed the answer. Okay. Some are from Kenya, some are from Malaysia, some are from Singapore. The student Abdul is from Indonesia. Whereas Siddiq is from Sri Lanka. Now we are entering into the biological evolution. In the rejection of the Lamarck ideas, we need to understand here the mechanism of the evolution was not completely fulfilled in the Lamarck concept. Lamarck used the example of giraffe, proposing that developed long neck because they need to reach the leaves on the tall tree. According to this idea, giraffe passed on the acquired character of an elongated neck to their offspring, resulting in the gradual evolution of the long neck giraffe. Right? So, what we need to understand basically the use and disuse of the organ. Of course, it is accepted. Of course, it is accepted in few cases, but not in all the cases. Use and disuse of the organ. If the organs are not used, this organ will vanish. For example, once upon a time, our ancestors gone for grazing. They took the green grasses and they survived very nicely. They survived very nicely. Here, because they had a plenty of cellulase enzyme in their body, like herbivorous animal, but we are not having that much amount of cellulase enzyme to digest the greens as like cattle. The cattle has cellulase, our ancestors had cellulase, but we are not having cellulase enzyme. So once we stopped eating the raw green leaves, so the cellulase production came down in our body. So like this, if you are not using the organ for a long time, the organs will not work more appropriately, and at one particular point, okay, it won't become a functional organ. It becomes completely a functionless organ. A complete functionless organ has originated from our functional organ because we not used it. That is the outcome of this particular idea. Okay. Now we are entering into the next important concept. We know very well in the biological evolution, okay, is viewed in the two important way. Our Lamarck scientist picture is given here, and actually Lamarck not failed in all the aspects. Only in few aspects it is not he not failed, but we changed. The group of scientists changed the certain concepts, and it became neo-Lamarckism. Right? If you're talking about our Lamarck told, okay, here factual observations such as limited natural resources, okay, heritable changes, etc. So Thomas Malthus highlighted the potential of exponential population growth influencing Darwin's thinking. Darwin's thinking. Competition for the limited resource occurs due to among individuals in a population, right? So what we need to understand basically, the Thomas Malthus, the great scientist, okay, here why the population size is reducing and increasing, right? And then he told them that if you're having the very good adaptation features, of course you can survive, but the survival efficiency also has certain limitations. Like for example, if the resource is limited, then obviously you can't take much amount of resources, right? So now we are entering into the next important concept, Darwin's insight. Variation in the trait, which are heritable and enhanced an individual ability to utilize the resource better within their habitat. But that is not the case with all the species. For example, if you're talking about, I'm a sandbow, desert snake. I'm short, stout, white. This sandbow snake can't survive the illustration. It survives very nicely in the desert. So each and every species are having their own credential to survive nicely in a given geographic area. If you're seeing the falcons, you can see the falcons in the desert, but you can't see the falcons in the mountain, in the Greenleaf Mountains, right? So the conclusion is have been replaced with the concept of natural selection. which operates on heritable genetic variation. Heritable genetic variation means that genetic variation should supposed to be in the gametes, then definitely it will be transferred. Of course, it will be transferred. If it is not at the gamete genetic level, it won't be transferred, right? It would be transferred. Now, before going to the mechanism of evolution, we will discuss about few questions. Each scientist is credited with the theory of natural selection as a mechanism of evolution. Of course, uh, Charles Darwin is a beautiful example. Okay, as I already told to you, right? Natural selection contribution is completely given by Charles Darwin, right? Now we are coming for the question number 2. What is the primary source of the genetic variation in a population? The answer for this is genetic variation. Okay, genetic variation is mainly because of the mutation. It's mainly because of the mutation. The primary source is mutation. Which term describes the process of species evolving similar traits independently due to similar environmental pressure? Similar environmental pressure. Convergent evolution is the best example, right? For this question. So let me solve one more questions in the same chapter in biological evolution. In this particular place, which type of selection favors individual with extreme traits leading to the reduction in the average trait value within a population is nothing but directional selection. Okay, see in the content we already discussed the directional selection, stabilizing selection, right? Okay, all these selections you need to correlate with the picture, and then we need to understand. Here now we are entering into the related video. Whenever you're having time, listen to this video. Examples. Okay, the process of natural selection with the example. Okay, we already told the peptide moth. Okay, the camouflage mechanism, industrial mechanism. Concept is written in a rephrased version in this place. Listen to this concept in a detailed way. And now we are entering into the next important phase. Is nothing but we're talking about the process of natural selection with an example we already discussed, right? Describes the process of genetic drift and its impact on small population, right? So the genetic drift that leads to changes in the allele frequency within a population, okay? It is a essential pronounced in small population and have significant consequences, right? Here, genetic drift and genetic shift, you know very well. For example, I'll give an example for genetic shift. The migrated species in a new geographical area mating with the native species every time because of the normal seasonal change. The same process happens accidentally, then we used to call as genetic drift. There is a beautiful example, okay, which is not given here in the slide. You should not think the teachers are here only to read the slide. No, we are bringing a lot of hidden sentence and a lot of examples, which is not given in the slide, right? So, worked example, we need to give with a lot of subheadings and headings this way. And tips for exam, of course, not only the vocabulary, not only the diagram chart, and we should understand the differences between the adaptation, natural selection, speciation, drift, and the role of mutation, right?